What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip from Team D.D.D, back with another video. In today's video, I got a post ban list Shaddoll deck profile. On top of being post ban list, I also found a new I found a new card, but I found a new way to abuse a said broken hand trap that is like really good for anybody that can play it. I'm going to go on a limb here and early on and let you know that this version of the deck is not budget, mainly because of said hand trap. Obvious reasons that gives it away what it is. But if you can't afford that, then obviously just use my last list as reference and then use my side deck that I mentioned, because this is an updated competitive side deck for like if you're taking this to an event or your locals is swamped with tier 1 meta decks. But before we get into this video, if you don't mind, guys, please hit that like button. We're on our way to 2K, and I can't wait to get there, and I really want to get there. And if you can, hit the like button, subscribe, bell notification, so you never miss an upload. Check the description for all the ways to support me, my Patreon, my Discord, and my TCG affiliate link and everything else. All the different ways to support me is down there as well, and I love you guys so much for it. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into this video. It's going to be in order of the engines. So the Dogmatica portion of the engine, basically. 3 Cartesia, self-explanatory. This part has not changed from my last version. I'm still in Maximus, even though I hate him. 1 Fleur. Now, actually, I take that back. I did change one thing. One thing, yeah. I added a copy of actual Fallen of Albaz and the Albion. This deck and the way it plays now, it utilizes the Dogmatic engine, but it abuses the bridge that bridges Dogmatica and Branded, basically. It's still Dogmatica, but it abuses the bridge that combines them, basically. In some ways that Branded used to, in some ways Branded doesn't. So that's what I like about it. It can abuse Fallen of Albaz, Fallen of Albaz being our 6th normal summon, because in theory we got 3, 4, 5, and then 6. Gives us 6 normal summons, even though granted this is obviously your best normal summon, but sometimes going second, starting out with this, and if they negate it, you can just special your Cartesia, which is nice, because then you baited out the interruption. And even if they pop this, like you're playing against ryzeal and they pop this, then it's still engraved where you can still special this, which is really, really good. Really, really good. And baiting interruptions and stuff. So I really like this engine. I really like the addition of Fallen of Albaz. The only bad part about adding Fallen of Albaz is it made the extra deck even tighter than it already was. The extra deck is snug as all get out. And we'll talk more about that when we get there. But let's go ahead and move on to the next part, next engine. Well, actually, not the next engine. We got to do the spells. 3 Nadir, and I'm back on 2 High Spirits. You know me, I'm going back and forth between 3 and 2. In theory, the card that we're about to show, this card is how you can get to your Cartesia or your Fallen of Albaz with said hand trap. And I'm going to show you in a minute how, even though I'm not running the card. But this is it for the Dogmatica cards, the Dogmatica portion / Fallen of Albaz portion of the deck. Shaddolls. I went back down to 2 Squam. I kept drawing double Squam all the time. But with that being said, I did up Hedgehog back to 2. The 2-2 split of these is really, really nice, because obviously if you've seen the other iterations of the deck, you need the spellcasters, and these 2 are the best ones to see with Branded and High Spirits, because they replace themselves and refill the hand in some fashion, or the board in some fashion. Excuse me. Then 1 Windy, Windy's Windy, Dragon. I've actually gotten used to running 1 Windy. It used to be a crutch for me to run 2, but I've actually gotten used to running 1. And after I got used to it, it just becomes second nature. 1 Dragon, 1 Beast, 1 Falco, the boy, the goat, 1 Hound. This card comes up so freaking much for us to be able to turn 1 Pot of Greed, pretty much where we can turn 1. We don't have to wait on our opponent attacking the beast. We can proc it ourselves if we open this, and if we open Squam and we make Construct, if we hard make Construct in some fashion, we can go double. We can go Pot of Greed plus even harder. Then one aerial. His card is disgusting. Triple D.D. Crow. It's just self-explanatory. A lot of this is self-explanatory. If you're watching this, that means you're a Shaddoll player. I don't really need to explain any of this. You're the GOAT already for playing the best deck. Moving on, 3 Shaddoll Fusion. And then just like High Spirits, I bumped this back down to Shaddoll 2. I don't know, I just did. I want to keep the deck count as low as possible. And this list is a 41 card list. And I don't want to brick. I want to see this when I see these. And in a light or whatever. Yeah. That's it for the Shaddolls. On to the non-engine. And the first non-engine is going to be the pricey. Actually, no. One trap, each trap. I know people don't like Resh, but Resh is mandatory in my personal opinion. It helps you win the grind games, the grindier matchups. It's the only Garnet in the entire deck, pretty much. But it's a necessary evil in my opinion. Then on to the non-engine. Starting out, 3 Mulch Army. I main deck it. This is what the new addition to the deck. I'm going on a limb here and open it up to where originally the real reason why I even bought into this card wasn't because it's broken, wasn't because it's meta. It was actually the fact because I found a way to abuse it even harder than everybody else and use it, the dead versions of itself, to bridge me into the Cartesias. And I'm gonna showcase that right here, right now. What you do is, like I said, branded High Spirits. You can go branded High Spirits, reveal a Mulch Army, and reveal Rembrandt from the extra deck. They're both winged beasts. So, and it's a level 8. So you can go branded High Spirits, reveal Mulch Army, reveal Rembrandt, dump them, add Cartesia or Fallen of Albaz. Your boy been cooking. But I cut this because I run so many other targets like dragons and spellcasters in the deck to where if I'm forced to use this to get to Cartesia, I'm probably losing that game anyways. But in theory, this is really nice too because if you get Albaz in Graveyard, you can banish this to summon back the Albaz, just like Branded usually used to. But I don't know. I just found myself not really needing it. And the extra deck is so freaking tight anyways. But 3 Mulch Army because it draws us into our engine, it draws us into our board breakers. And speaking of board breakers, the best one, and this card is probably going to go hard this format against ryzeal for us because their homeboy is a light. So free construct, free Granganol if they try to interrupt with it. And then speaking of more board breakers, this next card is about to go hard this format too because of everybody running so many hand traps. It's double talent. Talent is really, really good. It trades so well into boards, and since Snake Eyes is gone, the only real true interruption base deck this is an early take, by the way. This is an early take, day after the ban list. So if you're watching this after the format's kind of filled out and I make no sense here, then forgive me. But early state, the Azamina decks are the only one that can put up multiple bad interruptions. The rest of them just interact with you. They're interaction-based decks instead of negation-based decks. And this trades very well into those. On top of that, I dropped the Dark Rulers from the main because I wanted more of a live card going first and second, and Talents fills the role for that. A lot of the cards were not really reaction-based cards. They were just action-based cards in the form of they were a necessary evil to run to be able to shut off my opponent's stuff. As where this can get me to these and my rest of my non-engine. And then the rest of the non-engine per se is put Called By in here, and I put Instant Fusion back in. Instant Fusion is really freaking nice. It makes Maximus better. If you hard draw Maximus and nothing else really, and you just bricked your ass off, then you just go this, summon the Mud Dragon in the extra monster zone, link it off into Gravity Controller, and then you summon the Maximus by banishing the Mud Dragon, and then you go off from there. That's insinuating everything goes as planned and according to play, but it's still really nice in that regard. And Called By is just Called By. People are up in the 15 hand traps, up to 18 and 20 plus hand traps now. So it's nice to have. Not only that, you can call by the aggregator or whatever in the graveyard when they detach it off of their homeboys. So like, and it has so much different stuff too. You can call by hand traps, obviously. There's just a plethora of stuff you can hit. But this is a more of a live... This goes in tandem with like talents in the form of said I want more like cards that do stuff. And Instant Fusion does more for us because of the reason that I explained, and also being able to summon Mud Dragon to be able to manipulate its attribute for our Shaddoll fusions, or to manipulate its attribute to ensure that our targeting effects are it can't be targeted, like our light or whatever we don't want to be targeted, like our Cartesia, for an example. It's really nice in that regard too, so it just spams that out to where we can play. But that's it for the non-engine in the deck. The 41st card is called by. If you don't want to, if you want to clean 40, then just drop the called by. I added it in last minute. I just want it in there so like, cause like if you're playing against meta, they're going to have all the hand traps in the world. But again, if you want to clean 40, just drop the called by. Moving on to the extra deck. The extra deck is snug, dude. It's so freaking snug. Starting out the links, one SP Little Knight. Little Knight is just a board breaker in her own right. Dodge targeting effects. It's Little Knight, for God's sakes. Gravity Controller, probably the most important link in the deck. This card just does a lot for us. It's going to be really good probably against the Malice matchup to be able to clear their links. In theory, on paper, it will be. I haven't had the luxury to play a Malice player at the time yet. I'm sure that will definitely change because my locals is going to be swarmed by it. But Gravity Controller being able to clear their shit is going to be nice, probably. That's it for the links. You don't need any other link. You don't need the freaking Cross Sheep or anything like that. Appaloosa's banned. There's nothing really good to link into now, so like it's not necessary. Moving on to the fusions. To Mommy, to her. Standard, you always go through 2. 2 App, you'll always go through 2 of him, definitely. 1 for Nadir, 1 to summon. That's the reason why you run 2. If you didn't run Nadir, then you can get away with less, but you can't get away with less. She's the best one in the entire extra deck. I don't give a shit. Can't convince me otherwise. 1 Winda, has win in the name, so you win with it. That's it for the doll lineup. You don't need any other one. In this iteration of the deck, and on the other ones that I ran, like when I ran more like if I ran Fenrir's and then I ran the Earth Spellcaster, then yeah, you can play Shik, but right now you don't need it in this version. Sorry for hitting the camera. 1 Granganol. Granganol is Granganol. You need it for combo, whether you summon it or send it from the extra deck. As long as you have access to it in the field or graveyard, you're fine. It's a 4th copy in a Nadir. Super Poly targets. 1 Mud Dragon. I keep hitting the freaking camera. I'm sorry if I'm making you motion sickness. And then 1 Garua. Obvious. Super Poly target and Instant Fusion. So, yep. Moving on. Still in the Titanic Lab because it's a branded card and it's a Dogmatica card. It's more so Dogmatica than branded, but it bridges the Dogmaticas with the Fawn of Albaz and everything else. So that's why we run it. And then I added in the Mirror Jade because I wanted more of a I want more interruption on my opponent's turn in the form of like summoning the Fawn of Albaz to make this to break their board while they're trying to play, and then this breaking their board more, and then giving this a problematic card to where if they out this, then their whole board gets nuked. I always liked that about when I played branded, so it's really nice. And then this is the only target for this. If you end up having to send this early, like to be able to get access to combo, then you just don't go this line. These are the only 2 that I run. You don't need more than this because by the time if you summon this and then send this, you're going to be so far ahead anyways because you're breaking their board as they try to play. And then during end phase, this is going to replace itself with your Dogmatica cards, basically, to get your Dogmatic engine rolling, and then you're just freed up from there, and you're just gassed out. And then moving on, 1 Lulu. She's the best girl. Really nice, really good. Nadir target at worst case. You can hard summon it. You can special summon it off of Grang. She buffs your stuff. And then we're still on the Chaos Angel. These 2 on board is just GG because this protects this and this buffs this. So like, why not? Really nasty. And then Typhon is Typhon. It's an XT for Ultimate Slayer for when you're playing against ryzeal. But also, like, everybody's going to pretty much probably play into this unless they're really cautious after you Full Loss them. And they just don't do nothing, so. But, yep, that's it for the extra deck. Clean 15. Nothing I would change about the extra deck in this version when you're running the the Fawn of Albaz stuff. The extra deck is perfect, in my opinion. I worked really hard on it. Like getting it perfected. Like the extra deck was like harder to like master for this version of the deck than the main deck was. Now this side deck is going to be a competitive side deck. Like if you were playing this at an event or you have a meta warped locals, so you adjust the side deck as you see fit to be able to combat your area of play. But starting out, 3 Lancia for obvious reasons. Malice is the main reason. This being a light target is pretty nice too. Like I could even see an area where like if you have Malice warped locals or whatever, you can get away with main decking this because it's a light target at the worst case. So why not? So yeah, 3 artifact Lancia, 3 mind control, 3 ultimate slayer, really nasty. These cards just eat ryzeal's boards for breakfast. 3 Dark Ruler. I put them in the side. I took droplets out for this because this just trades better. Because this requires a lot less commitment in the form of like cards. In the form like because I don't have to discard nothing for them. I just turn off everything and I'm free to play. All I had to do was hand traps or potential back row. So yeah. Moving on, I have a proxy for you and a regular card. 2 thrust. Because thrust is just free because our Shaddoll fusions and everything in our main deck. And then every single spell you see right here, it can get access to. And then the last card it can get access to is D.D.D for ryzeal or anything else you're playing against. I don't want to play 3 thrust because sometimes I still would rather draw the actual cards that I'm trying to search so I can play around hand traps. But yeah. 2 thrust, 1 D.D.D, clean 15 side deck. I think this is pretty much perfect side deck at the early stages of this brand new format. But yeah, there's nothing I would change at this current moment. You know me, I'll always keep cooking though, and I'll always adjust to the formats. I always try to stay caught up with the format. So when the format moves and shifts and they get new tech cards, then we're going to get new tech cards too. And that's when I usually update the version of the deck, and I just constantly update Shaddolls or whatever I'm playing. And right now at the time I'm playing Shaddoll, so I'm going to update them like crazy. Shoutouts to the Fine China. I thought since this deck was so special, I'd bring out the Fine China. You know I normally don't bring out the Mommy Mat unless it's the Fine China. I always keep this thing kept away because I don't want my stuff to chip or whatever like right here. So I never really bring this mat out. So, but I decided to today because it's the Fine China, bro. It's the Fine China. But anyways, guys, I hope you all enjoyed the profile. Please leave a comment and a like if you enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comment section. If you have any questions, so I'll be happy to answer them. I'll look at all your old stuff. That's one of my favorite parts about making videos. So, but again, I hope you all enjoy this video and go out there and wreck the format with Shaddoll because Shaddoll's best deck. But with that being said, I love you guys so much. It's your boy Brendan, aka Drip from Team D.D.D. Sign out till next time. Peace. Good dueling, my guys. Love you.